The last few months, especially here in the US, have been pretty crazy when it comes to weather. Here where I live, we've had record-breaking snow amounts, and now that it's warming up, flooding is a very real thing that's happening. If you were on the West Coast, they had unprecedented amounts of rain that flooded as well. And wherever you are, these types of events seem to happen at the very least periodically. And what it really, I think, brings to the forefront is that it's very possible that you might be in a situation that is less than ideal, and you might need to prepare for that. And luckily, there's tons of products coming on the market that try to address those kind of worst case scenarios just to keep you prepared. And I think the easiest one to address is power loss. And that's where this video's sponsor comes in, Anker, and they've been making portable power banks for years at this point. And recently, they've really stepped up their game in the more portable generator type device that can power whatever you need for a really long time. And that is where the Anker 757 powerhouse comes in. Now, if you've been watching the channel for a little while, you know I made a video on the 757 almost a year ago, but Anker reached out and said they had something else to go along with the battery that I hadn't used yet, and that is this, their solar panel. And this takes what you can do with the 757 and really maximizes it. Now, the idea here is that you can have the Anker battery pack, the 757 in this case, and you can power it pretty much indefinitely with solar. And this gives you a few benefits. One is that it's very green. You're using the sun to power your battery. Two is in emergency situations where you can't recharge the battery, well, as long as you have sun, you can still do that. And in non-emergency situations, of course, you can still power the battery with the sun. And this is all very portable, so you can easily take it with you depending on where you want to use it, or if you want to keep it at home for, say, an emergency, you can store it away until you need it, and it doesn't take up much space. Now, setting this up is very simple. As you can see, it's pretty compact, easy to take with you. It folds all together and comes with this nice little handle. Very compact and easy to use. And to set it up, all you have to do is unfold it. It's really that easy. It's held together with some Velcro. So you can just unfold it like that, and it folds twice. So you open it up like this and then unfold it one more time, and there you go. On the back, there are some feet which you can fold out, and this will let it lay down and face the sun in the optimal angle. Pretty much it. All you have to do is plug it into the battery, and there is a cable included for that. In fact, when you plug it in, there is also a USB-A and USB-C port there. So if you didn't want to use a battery, just wanted to use the solar panel, you could still do that. Now, to get the optimal charging out of this, you want to make sure it's facing the sun in the right direction. And there's actually a little dial here to let you know if you're doing that correctly. Basically, you align the shadow of the dot to the circle, and that's how you know it's facing in the right direction. It's a little clever trick that I think is nice that they included. Now, this solar panel is 100 watts. So ideally, you'd like to have multiple of these if you really want to recharge quickly. So for reference, if you had 3 of these, you could recharge the 757, which is 1229 watt hours. You could recharge it in about 4.5 hours. With the one, obviously, it's going to be less than that. It's still going to charge it, it's just going to take longer. But these are daisy chainable, so if you wanted to have multiple ones, you can easily do that. And also when using the solar panel, you get a 1.5 times higher conversion rate for efficiency, so up to 23%. So that alone is good. But yeah, I mean, using this solar panel in conjunction with the battery has been a really nice way to use it. And it lets me know that if for whatever reason I can't recharge it with the wall, I still have the sun, and we're not worried about that going anywhere anytime soon. So I pretty much have unlimited power. All I have to do is wait for it to recharge. But of course, you need the battery in order for this all to work. And I think the 757 is the best balance of capacity and just overall usability. You can get really big batteries. Anker sells a bigger one as well, but they become very big and cumbersome. You don't necessarily want to take them with you, or at least not as often. And then you also have the smaller versions, but they can't charge or power nearly as many things. So I think the 757 strikes that middle ground really well. I've had this battery for coming up on a year now, and I use it all the time. This basically lives in my car when I'm going places. And for me, the main way I use it is when I'm out in a situation like this, where I just don't have power. Now, I'm close to home right now, so I can just go home if I need to recharge. But as the weather gets nicer and the snow on those mountains start to melt, I go further and further away from power sources. And that's where something like this comes in handy. So either I'm camping and I want, a heated blanket, which we use all the time, especially when we
and it gets cold at night, or if I need to charge all my devices like the camera I'm using right now, or drones or iPads, phones, anything like that. But one of the things that has come in real handy is Starlink. Because I work from home and work remote, I can kind of work from anywhere, and having Starlink means I can work from pretty much literally anywhere. So we can go out on an adventure, plug in Starlink, have full internet connection with high-speed data, and I can do all my work while being out in nature. And with a solar panel and a battery system like this, I can kind of do that for as long as I need until I decide to come home.
And it's great to know that the 757 can power everything I do recreationally, but also if I really need it, it can work in an emergent situation. So it works in many different scenarios. And if I'm not out away from home and I'm here and I lose power, well, I can easily power things like my refrigerator for a long period of time so that I don't, have any food spoilage or anything like that. And I could power some of the lights I have. For instance, this light that's lighting me right now, I could power this for hours so I have light in the house even if I don't have power. Now, what makes doing this very easy is the port selection on the 757. So you have 13 ports in total. You have 6 AC ports, 2 USB-C ports, 4 USB-A ports, then you have a car charger port, and you can use all of these simultaneously as long as they're within that 1500 watt capacity. And the screen that's above all these ports lets you easily see what capacity the battery is at and what charge percentage it's at. So for instance, when I plug in the solar panel, I can see that it's recharging and it can give me an estimate of how long it'll take to recharge the battery. And whenever I plug something in and power it, it lets me know the draw and the percentage that I'm at. Plus it has a nice little built-in ambient light, so if it's nighttime for instance and you don't know where the battery is, you can have this on. Doesn't draw very much power at all and gives you a nice little ambiance. Plus inside it's using lithium iron phosphate batteries, and these let you charge it many times without any degradation, and that really means that these are going to last a really long time. So if you're worried about the environment, well, these batteries, you're going to be able to use them for years and years, up to 3,000 cycles, which for a battery like this, well, that's a ton. But yeah, that is the Anker 757 solar generator. It's a product I've used for months at this point, and adding the solar panel to it really takes it to the next step. And if you're looking for a solution like this, I think this is probably the first place to look. And if you purchase it now, Anker is holding something they call Earth Month. So a percentage of your purchase will go to Oceana to help protect the oceans. So you can get a great product and help a good cause. But yeah, I absolutely love having this kind of tech around because it really comes in handy for the situations that I talked about, but also in ways that you honestly would just never even expect.